I love that we can see the fangs at the end of that. I really do.
It's amazing. I love that smile. It still cracks me up every time. Hey, we are back. It is Wednesday. It is Woo Woo Wednesday. I'm back with the man himself, Salty Texas. If you can hear howling in the background, that's not a werewolf. But let's roll with it.
I thought that's what we were gonna say. I thought that was. Okay, fine. It's not a werewolf, but I still think it's a werewolf, Valkyrie.
It should be a werewolf, exactly. How are you doing?
It's Woo Woo Werewolf Wednesday. We need that on a t-shirt. Say that quick. I'm doing all right. I'm fighting with work. As you know, I have been fighting with work because, the IRL. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But it seems like the world is losing its mind. It's like disintegrating, and I keep waiting for Colonel Flag and Captain Trips to show up or something to make sense of this. Maybe that's because I've been watching The Stands too much, and not the one with Amber Turd in it, the real one from 1994. But I digress.
So good.
Yeah.
But let's see who we have gotten, guys. If you want to vote in the poll, that would be fantastic. But we have got Daniel. He said, I want a werewolf. Me too. Werewolves are awesome.
Dude, werewolf.
We've got Pat S. He says, let me grab that. It says, my cousin works in a haunted hotel in New Orleans.
Oh, Pat S. Is that the Monteleon or another one? I'm assuming it's going to be in the quarter because we talked about the Hotel Monteleon last week, but I can talk about the Hotel Monteleon all the time, especially when it's a corporate credit card, if you know.
It's a good reason. Let's see. We've got Leaky. Great to see you. Hey there. We've got the Devon Zone. Good evening. We've got Doctor and author himself, Adego Outlaw. Hey there.
Hey, Adego.
Let's see. We've got Daniel, of course. We've got our favorite vampire, Nosferatu. Great to see you.
The question is, does Nosferatu the vampire want a werewolf on Werewolf Woo Woo Wednesday? Think about it. Sorry to interrupt.
That's a tongue twister.
Oh, ladies.
Let's see. We've got Low Spec Linux Laptop, the lovely Leia Rose. Hey, sweetheart. Great to see everybody. And D-Bud Martin and the Thad That Shouldn't Be. Hey, guys. So, as you can tell from the thumbnail today, it's a little bit different. We're actually focusing on one particular place, and we're going to branch out a little bit later on. But the main topic that we're going to talk about, at least for the first half of the show, is the very haunted Adolphus Hotel in Dallas.
We almost didn't get to it. I'm glad we did. The backstory to this is when Purple Valkyrie came over to the Dallas Fan Expo back in June, we took a little spin around the Western United States. On the very last day, when she was set to get on her evening flight, she said, can we please drive back to downtown Dallas and park and then go to this hotel? So we went, and it was entirely worth it. And we shot a lot of footage. We actually got some firsthand interviews with, I believe it was the bellboy. Yeah, I use gendered language because I'm not a moron. The bellboy who was telling us about haunted stuff and how housekeepers experience things. It was totally worth it. So, yeah. I'm guessing it's a Monteleone. Although, dude, there's so much haunted stuff in the quarter, man. Especially right off the square. Let's be honest about
Yes,
it.
I would love to go to New Orleans. It's definitely on my bucket list of places to visit. And Nosferatu says I stayed in a haunted hotel once and accidentally made out with Yeah, I've seen that film, funnily enough. Yeah. Good times.
Is that a way of saying you got drunk and went home with Whoopi Goldberg? I mean, what do you?
Funnily enough, the Stanley Hotel is actually on a list of hotels, of course, that I'm going to bring up later on, and we talked about it last week as well.
Yes.
But
Yeah, we did.
otherwise known as the famous Overlook Hotel in The Shining.
Yeah. The Hotel Monteleone is a lot like the Adolphus that we went to go visit in a lot of ways architecturally, because it's in the quarter. Obviously, it has a somewhat of a different style, but just, man, those old hotels, you can feel the energy. You can feel the decades of things, good and bad, that have happened there. Yeah.
And Daniel says, I've visited the Stanley. That is pretty freaking awesome. I would love to visit there. But we've got some footage to show you, and we've got some really cool pictures. But what I thought I would do first is give you guys a little bit of backstory and give you an idea of what ghosts are said to haunt the Adolphus. So this is one of Dallas's most haunted hotels. There are a few of them, but this is kind of the go-to one, and it even has its own ghost tour that they organise. I think it's in the evening, if I remember correctly, a couple of times a week. So you can kind of pre-book, and they'll take you around and tell you about the sordid history behind the hotel.
Sordid.
But let me give you a little bit of history of it. So this has been around for quite a long time. It's 22 stories tall, and at the time it was built, it actually towered over most of Dallas. It was one of the tallest buildings, so it kind of dominated the skyline. Now it's kind of it's little in comparison to the rest of Dallas now, because it's so built up and so metropolitan, but it's such a beautiful ornate hotel inside and out. And when you see the footage that we've shot, you'll see, I would call it a deco. Would you say, Salty? That's the style that they've gone for?
It's definitely got a deco in my I'm getting strain brain, but it goes back to the American sort of the American school. The same sort of school of, about this time the hotel was completed in 1912. So think about Stieglitz as a photographer, that whole crowd, Georgia O'Keeffe. You saw a lot of amazing art as the country of America started to develop its own culture and not just be linked to Europeans who looked down on us, their free cousins. And so you also ended up looking at people like Frank Lloyd Wright as well. That was carrying forward that. But I thought the hotel was beautiful, and people are going to be dazzled by some of the video that we have. Yeah, absolutely.
And fortunately, I think because of its location, the hotel has always done incredibly well. You can see it's very well kept. It's very upscale and very, very beautiful to walk around. But let's get to the actual meat of the things. So, as it says, haunted happenings. For all its glitz and glamour, the Adolphus Hotel is no stranger to guts and gore. According to legend, the hotel has hosted not only famous comedians and big band performances, but a whole chorus of undead. Reports accumulated over the years pinpoint a majority of sightings to one location, the elevator, which you will see.
Yeah, and we heard stories. That was part of the stories we got from the bellboy, talking about things that maybe weren't published. And I'm not saying that somebody might have been given some money, but somebody might have been given some money to get some information. I guess that's how the world works.
Yes, indeed. So apparently this elevator shaft has had several victims. Unfortunately, we've had people that have fallen accidentally. We've had elevator carts that have fallen and unfortunately killed people. And also we've had people that were crushed beneath it in freak accidents. And the first one actually, it says a mere 2 weeks after the hotel opened in 1912, a waiter who just arrived from Chicago the day before turned to say something to his companion as he stepped into the elevator. He failed to notice that his ride had left without him. Rather than going up, he fell 3 floors down the elevator shaft and died on impact.
I've been in some buildings that were built at that time that still have some of the original elevators, and you can understand how that happens. I used to belong to a civic group, I will say that, and the building was from 1920, and they had the original elevator, and it was a death trap. It was literally like, I'd rather climb up the side of the building than get in this thing. And we had a pretty open bar in our civic club, but it's just, like, you get in this thing and you forget, like, our grandparents looked at these things, at least my grandparents, and were like, I don't have to walk upstairs. I don't care if it's a death trap. Can you imagine like a 6'4" walk up with 5 kids trying to carry milk jugs and ice? I used to hear stories. So it's like, you know what? Take your life in your hands. Ride the elevator. So.
Yes. And I'm not a big fan of lifts anyway, I've got to admit. It's not because of claustrophobia or anything. I just don't like the sensation of them. If I can take the stairs, usually I will.
I wonder in chat, what's the freakiest elevator you've ever been on? Like, I was at the Sears Tower. I don't know what the hell it's called now. It's always going to be the Sears Tower to me in Chicago. And that was one of probably the fastest lift-off elevators I've ever been on before. But if you guys have freaky elevator stories, please tell us in chat.
So, as it said, the lift and the lift shaft have taken quite a few lives, but according to this, and this is the one that is probably the most famous, the infamous spirit said to haunt the Adolphus is the ghost of a young bride-to-be. And this is the one that we got told about when we were having a little chat downstairs in the lobby.
Yeah. And then we also went there.
Yes,
and,
yes, we did.
We cannot wait to show you the footage, but Purple knew all about this story, and she's telling me all this, and I'm getting freaked out in the death trap elevator, going to the 19th floor, noticing that the elevator doesn't have a 13th floor, and I'm wondering what's going on the 13th floor. You know what I mean? Like, just saying.
It's kind of creepy, and we also it was funny because we met another young couple in the lift as well, and they had no idea that this place was supposedly haunted, so we told them as well.
Yeah, these were trust fund kids. I'm sure their room was like $8,000 a night, and all you could do is smell the high grade ganja on them, and they're like, dude, that's so wild, I'm gonna get in my Bentley because I'm like a trust fund kid.
So they were probably seeing ghosts anyway. They probably didn't even bat an eyelid.
They were seeing tracers or ghosts. Yeah. Who you gonna call? Bob Marley. Yeah, Ghostbusters.
So let me give it a little bit of background of this very famous ghost. So it was said to be in 1935. All the guests arrived inside the hotel's ornate ballroom on the 19th floor and waited for the bride to make her way down the aisle. Yet the groom was nowhere to be found. He had actually stood her up. The wedding party waited for hours, but the groom never arrived. Heartbroken and utterly humiliated, the bride fled the scene. Hours later, her body was found a few feet away from the altar where she was set to take her vows. And
think about that one.
She had checked out.
Yeah, she tied some knots, and tragic. That's a traumatic deletion. And I'm a firm believer that when there is a traumatic deletion, a traumatic passing like that especially when there are such strong feelings involved, I do believe there's a resonance that exists. I will say that, not just in this situation, but also in combat, other situations, car accidents, things along those lines. But that's my opinion.
I agree, and this seems to echo what you were saying, but let me just grab this from MV Geek. Thank you so much and great to see you. It says, I was in a 11-year haunted relationship nightmare. Bring on the haunted hotel. It has been nothing on the horror of my ex-wife. I'll take the leap.
Yep.
I hope things are better now, honey. I really do, but it's so good to see you. Thank you.
Question, was it on Cthulhu scale? Or was it just kind of like on Slimer from Ghostbusters? Because I'm not judging your payment. I'm just saying we need context. We really do.
And Patty says, in my old college, the elevator was converted into a closet. It could only hold 2 people and no emergency call button.
That sounds safe. That sounds great. What could go wrong? I hope they stored like bottled oxygen and gases in there with open flames. Could you imagine?
Yeah. I think that would help.
That sounds like the college I went to. It had burned out. So these idiot hippies had like burned out and flooded the 2 dorm rooms on my college campus. And you know what the college did? They just sealed the doors up for 30 years. Well,
wow.
You're in college. You may have been drinking. You find ways to enter sealed buildings. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about the haunted hotel.
Challenge accepted, I think that was. Dave Bob says, I got stuck in an elevator at work for an hour once. I've been stuck in lifts as well. Nosferatu, my worst elevator experience was as a kid in one with my mum, and it dropped a 4 or 5 floors.
That's
I've always taken the stairs since. That would do it. That would do it.
I got trapped in it was a 3-story department store, which was back in the day when living in the middle of nowhere, that was like a big store. And I remember I was walking around with a Mickey Mouse watch. This is like 75, 76.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into this elevator, and then I had no idea how to operate the elevator because, we lived in the woods essentially on a farm. I'd never seen technology like this before. It was like giving someone in the Amazon a cell phone. What do I do with it? You know what I mean? And so I'm in there. And I'm like screaming because I'm like, oh my God, the cannibals are going to get me or something. And then my grandmother is like, she presses the button, ding, and I run out. But that was traumatic, Just saying. If your kids aren't very smart when they're young, they can still turn out well. They just maybe need to read books and a traumatic experience like that.
And to experience things, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jacob Ironside, great to see you. Set up into the haunted Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. That is freaking cool. MB Geek says, but it was Cthulhu level.
Yeah. You have my sympathies, and you also have Prophet of the Dragon sympathies on that one. That's all we'll say about that one. So sorry, Jimmy.
And let me say hey to DZ Burton, the lovely Gum Bunny, hello sweetheart, and Cavatanio Cabriman Shay. Great to see you guys. Hey there.
Hey, and TZ Burton, are you a cousin of Jack Burton? Runs the Pork Chop Express? I don't need to explain that reference. Just gonna leave that right there.
If you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
And Soul Assassin, great to see you, says, I've been to the haunted Menja Hotel in San Antonio. Nice place.
Oh, see, I've got to go down there. I've got to go check that one out. There's also one in Austin. Mm-hmm. I need to check out another one, Punkwaddle, who's on the other side of Texas from me. He says there's another one I need to check out too. So I may need to take a little road trip and get my
ghost
busting kit on in my proton pack.
I would love that. And as you'll see in a few minutes when we pull up some of this footage, it was a lot of fun to walk around.
Yeah.
But let me say quickly thank you to Daniel. He says, elevator death traps of last century versus current day public stupidity. I prefer the survival of the fittest from the past. Yeah, a lot of people say that. Just take the warning labels off things and see what happens.
Yes. I never wore a helmet riding a bike. Never. And you know what happened? I actually did get hit by a car. You know what I didn't hit? My head. You know what I did do? I broke my arm. So what am I going to do? Wear bubble wrap? I mean, I'm not judging, but I'm judging. I'm just going to say
little bit of judging, but that's okay. And Nosferatu says, who you going to call? Salty Texas Sea.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh my God! Now I have to do deepfakes. Thank you for that. Who said that? Who said that? Sorry.
That was Nosferatu.
Oh, hail Nosferatu! All right, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. Sorry, I just got pinged because
Oh yeah.
somebody on eBay was giving me a 20% off the Stand graphic novels. There's apparently several different
Yes.
series of the
Yes, there are.
Stand, and I want to talk about with you that, Purple, because I don't know which one to get, but I really do.
Okay.
I really love the Stand. Anyway,
It's a great story.
I'm gonna not derail your show for 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm just going to swing back and finish the story of the bride-to-be. So it says, ever since that fateful night, guests staying on the 19th floor, which we will show you momentarily, report hearing a woman crying, footsteps running up and down the hall, and even the sound of a rope creaking under the strain of a body. Staff and guests of the hotel report an eerie feeling of being watched, and we actually had reports of that when we were talking to some of the staff. They report we're working in the rooms and feeling like people, they're being watched or being tapped on the shoulder.
Yeah, it was the maintenance people that said they heard crying and were being sent up to the 19th floor repeatedly looking for kids that may have snuck in and be hiding up there. And I believe it was the housekeepers that also identified that and felt like someone was behind them, that someone was touching them, that someone was pulling on their uniforms. And again, this is coming from the dude he's at, we'll just say he was at the front of the hotel, right in front of where you check in. And, these rooms are not like $35. These rooms are thousands of dollars to stay in this place.
This gentleman was very smartly dressed. He was very proper. He was very professional. But he was very interesting to talk to. So shout out to him. So thank you.
Yeah.
So we also have the bride has actually been spotted as a spirit wandering up and down the halls after events and parties, still wearing the white dress and veil. Maybe the jilted bride-to-be searches for her long-lost groom, or perhaps a new one among the guests.
Well, I'm single. I mean, if NB Geek can marry Cthulhu, there's no reason I can't marry 200-year-old dead bride, right? I mean,
corpse bride. Yes.
Yeah, maybe she's a good cook, Oh yeah, I did that. I reinforced the patriarchy.
So toxic.
That's me.
Say hey to Psychodorf. Hello, love. He said, my grandfather, who died when I was about 9 and 10, kept checking in. My second wife saw him at last. That's actually kind of cool. I always like stories of kind of family members who stay around. I find that more comforting than frightening.
I do too. I had experiences like that. My brother had experiences like that, and my brother is in Eastern Europe and hasn't been in the United States for 25 years, and he reported things like that. So it's fascinating. Like I again, we've covered some of these things, but I do think that we are more than just 75 cents worth of meat and chemicals. These electrical impulses come from somewhere. They came from somewhere when we were conceived. I use that word. When we were conceived, and they depart us when this mortal coil, when this flesh ends. I don't know where it goes. I'm not advocating anything. I'm just saying something happens, and I don't know what the answer to that is.
There's got to be something. Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. And Jacob Ironside said there's a ghost at the ghost cat at the Crescent Hotel. That's kind of cool. I like that.
Does it use a ghost litter box? That's the question. Does it scratch the ghost sofa?
It just knocks things off cabinet of like cats do.
Even in death.
Even in death. Yes. Yeah. And hey to Snacks and Comics. Great to see you, honey.
Good to see you. Say hey to Freddy and the Goblin. Yes, I got it right. The Goblin. Whose name I forgot. I can't believe I forgot your Goblin's name. Dude, stream brain. I got Freddy right. So, yeah.
So, since we've given them a little bit of backstory about the hotel, shall we bring up some of the footage that we've shot to let them show?
Indeed.
All right.
Indubitably.
Awesome. So, guys, what I'm going to do is I will bring up Salty's first, and you can see what we saw and give you an idea of what it looks like and what the hotel looks like outside and in. So, let me add this to the stream. Let me know if you can hear it.
It's good. This is the exterior of the hotel. You can see some of the design. This is the front of the hotel. Notice how ornate it is. The busts, the scroll work, a lot of lions in this. Just a beautiful hotel. This is the front of the hotel itself. It's the main entrance of the Adolphus. You can see 22 floors. Back in 1912 would be amazing. There's me looking very tired.
And me looking very short in the background, yes.
Yeah, I was standing on a box. But the minute you walk into this place, you can see this place is money. Look at the wood paneling. There is nothing out of place here. It is immaculate. You could perform surgery on the floor.
Yes.
Look at the mailboxes. This place has a barber shop, a coffee shop. You can see how ornate it is. A lot of brass, multiple little bars all over the place and little areas to sit. Beautiful furniture you'd expect from that period. This is a huge sitting room with, I think the ceiling was 40, 50 feet high.
It was, yes. I think this is one of the highest, so it's got like the open plan.
Skylight. Now here's the elevator.
And there we go, going up.
19th floor.
Yeah, abandoned hope, all ye who enter here. This is Spook Central. Yeah.
And it was weird. We really didn't run across many guests while we were walking around, did we? And I thought we might, because it was like mid-afternoon. It wasn't.
Yep. This is the ballroom that Purple Valkyrie was talking about. Tell them about that.
Yeah. So this is one of the main ballrooms that obviously they rent out for parties and whatever that you like up on the 19th floor. So I'm guessing this was the very place that the bride was due to have her fated wedding.
And that's the room, if I remember correctly.
That's it. Yeah, that's the room that's said to be the most haunted. 1903. There we go. Let me take that one out. But it's incredible to have a look around.
You know, we talked about going to the clown. I was going to say the clown college. No, the clown hotel. I'd rather go to. Well, yeah, I think I did go to the clown college, if I'm honest about it, 30 years later. But no, I mean, these old hotels are fantastic. The same reason I liked staying in the Monteleon in New Orleans when I used to have to go there for trade shows back in the 90s. Like, you could stay at a brand new Radisson or whatever, but staying at one of those hotels that has the character. I mean, yeah, it's not all modern everything, but it's just, man, I don't know. There's something about it. You can't beat it. The service, and of course, like I said, the carousel bar at the Hotel Monteleon. You can't beat that.
And Daniel says you guys were lucky to be able to record without people in the way. I was surprised. Like I said, we talked to a couple of people. I mean, there were people downstairs in the lobby just kind of hanging out. But once we got up to the 19th floor, it was absolutely deserted. I was a little bit worried. I thought we were going to have to stop and start, and so we're not getting people in the shot. But all of these were pretty much taken at the same time. We didn't have to have many breaks.
Yeah. And Purple is very proper. She was concerned we were going places we shouldn't go. And I said, oh, well, I'm an American. I'm just like, whatever. I'm going to this hotel. We're going to go where we want until they throw us out.
We're just going to open doors and see what's behind them. And that's how we found the ballroom.
Yeah. What are you hiding? What are you hiding, Hotel Adolphus?
Where's the ghost?
What's going on in here? What are you hiding? Just saying.
And hail to Lady Toriel. Hello, lovely. She said, I love this. I've lived in 2 haunted houses. They were benevolent. Nice. And Leah Rose says, look at that mirror. Yes. Yeah, mirrors all over the place. That's one of the things I noticed kind of just walking around. Huge mirrors in the lobby. There were mirrors up on the walls, and just walking through, mirrors absolutely everywhere.
And that wood paneling was hardwood. That was like 3/4 inch real polished wood. This is the old school, old money, real deal hotel,
Someone assassin. Hey, where the ghost at? we just keep checking until we find her.
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke about Biden, but I guess we're talking about the Adolphus. And that's the thing. I mean, we've all been lured in by some of these shows with ghost hunters, and they're like, what's that? Oh my god, there's a ghost, like that type of bullshit. And it's like, I think it discredits actual things where people actually do have these experiences,
yes,
And,
yes. As soon as something happens, they run away. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm running. I'll tell you what. I'm running toward the ghost. I'm running toward the interdimensional portal because how could it be worse than here? I'm just gonna say it like this. I'm going with them. Like you guys, like it's fine.
Taking the chances.
Yeah. You eat the bugs. Yeah, it's fine. I'm going with Cthulhu. It'll be fine.
We got to see Salty's incredible footage, so let me share mine and see what you guys think. So, bearing in mind that the height difference, so you see it from a completely different angle, but we'll give it a go.
She showed me before the show, and I'm like, oh my god, that's how the world looks when you're like 5 feet tall. It's like I should be doing this. I should like stream like this. It's like, hi, I'm Purple Valkyrie. Sorry. Yeah, I'm insensitive. I'm sizist. I'm ableist. I use pronoun gendered language.
And hey, Keely, great to see you. And hello, Tim and Phip. Hello, guys. Great to see you.
Yeah.
While Salty's chuckling at his size joke, let me bring up the next video. There we go. So as you can see, a little bit shaky, but next time I will invest in a gimbal. But as you can see, I love the outside of this building. It was incredibly ornate, and it was kind of weird because it was pretty much just around the corner from the hotel we were actually staying at.
Yeah, it's funny when you take shots, everything looks so much bigger. Everything looks so much taller when your camera angle.
Yeah, it kind of is, I guess. But these are the haunted elevators, obviously, that are so famous. But I love this lobby.
It's beautiful.
It just really beautiful. It's incredible. And as Salty said, there's a barber shop, there's a shop by the front entrance, that just sells kind of little bits and pieces and toiletries and snacks and so
beautiful
so
chandeliers. It's just beautiful chandeliers. They really are.
And this is back up on the 19th floor, so this is kind of we ventured a little bit further in, and we were just kind of exploring, seeing how far we could get.
We went far. There's some video we didn't show. We'll just say that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even the common areas, it's so well laid out. It was beautiful, but I can imagine this place is kind of like a maze if you're not used to it.
Yeah. It is interesting. They had some very old mirrors in there that were hazed and foxed. And I'm a big believer that mirrors like that will hold some resonance. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yes, and even there's a mirror at the bottom, and that going down those stairs and then down to the side, you get to the room that Salty filmed. So there you go.
Yeah, it's wild. That was our first try at trying to videotape and do a hotel. I just kept saying, shoot a lot of B-roll, and that's what you do. And it's just, we hope we gave you a perspective. Obviously what we all wanted to do was run into the ghost. I wanted to ask the ghost questions. That didn't happen, unfortunately, but maybe next time we go to a haunted hotel.
Yes, maybe next time. But I think it's fascinating, and I really love that we got to do this. So very, very lucky. Got to indulge the woo-woo and actually experience it, not just talk about it.
Yeah.
Hey, to start a poopers, great to see you. Hello.
And you'll appreciate this. What did we do after we survived the haunted hotel? I took Purple Valkyrie to Chick-fil-A for her first Chick-fil-A feast. So
this is true.
There you go. Yeah.
And it was delicious. I loved it. It's so good.
Yeah. Bat Channel. Do you know Batman? The Bat Channel? Do you know Batman?
Bat Channel, great to see you guys. Andy Masterson says I've had some run-ins. Not sure if he means ghost or something else, but
or MV Geek's Cthulhu wife. Either way, I don't envy you. But yeah.
And Leia, she says the hall looks haunted. It does. And it was so quiet as well. I've got one more video to share with you guys, and I think that's got one of the shots where you can see out over the city. It's really, really nice. And hey, Clobbering Times, good to see you. Hello, love. Hey there. So let me bring up this last one. Where is it? I put it at the top so I wouldn't lose it. So this one, guys, is just a slideshow. It's just a few random shots that I took and tried to kind of piece together to give you a bit a less shaky look at the hotel. But let me pull this up and show you.
like we're on a Prairie Home Companion. I love it.
It kind of is, isn't it? Yeah. I didn't know what music, so I went with that one.
I love it. God save the Queen.
Yes, and there's the shot. There we go.
Yeah.
That's it. So it gives you a good idea of what it looks like looking out over the city. But I loved it. I thought it was great. And that particular shot that I took of the Queen and Prince Philip, she was a guest there, so she kind of signed it, and that picture was actually a gift from her to say thank you to the hotel for hosting and having her, which I thought was very sweet.
A lot of MVPs, a lot of American presidents, a lot of famous musicians going back to the 30s. It stayed in this hotel, so.
This music makes me want to go prospecting for ghosts and gold.
You know what? That music makes me want to go. Damn it! Stop it!
Damn it! I like that music. Don't judge me.
Let's just no. I like it too, but you know what makes me want to go? It's been a quiet week in Wobegon. That's what it is. It's been a quiet week in Wobegon. Larry Bunsen down at Bunsen Motors. Yeah, I went there. I do that.
I'm going to play it again in a minute, just because.
Hashtag Garrison Keillor was framed. I'm just going to say that. Garrison Keillor was framed. I love that man. I really did. But, I saw him live multiple times. Really liked
I'm going to have to get context for that joke, but yes.
Yeah. It's been a quiet week in Lake Wobegon. Yeah. On Woo Woo Werewolf Wednesday on Lake Wobegon. All right, there we go. We got it. We got a triple W.
Hey, it's a Magic Mag, say sweetheart. And Daniel says, I really like this purple and salty footage. So fun to add whilst talking about the location. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We had a lot of fun just kind of walking around and getting to do that. And Nosferatu said, I like it too. Thank you, love. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's been a quiet week. Unlike Wobegon here on Werewolf Woo Woo Wednesday. It's the last time I'm doing it. I just had to say it. When
there you go.
Say that again? Yeah.
Next week, probably.
Play that music. Let's start talking about powder milk biscuits and rhubarb pie.
See, now I want to go to Cracker Barrel. Damn it.
I know. You say that all the time. Every stream, she's like, I want to come back to America so we can go to Cracker Barrel. I'm like, I know. It's true.
And thank you, Gum Bunny. She says the music makes me think of a road trip. Well, it was a road trip. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Leia Rose. Thank you, sweetheart. You guys are awesome. So that was our kind of first delve into something woo-woo related that we actually got to experience, which was a lot of fun. I would love to do it again. I would love to visit some of the other haunted locations around the US. I'd really like to go to the Alamo. I think that would be amazing. I would love to go to the Stanley Hotel, as I said. I think that would be fantastic. And I'd actually really like to stay in the Clown Motel, even though it will probably give me nightmares for the rest of my life.
Good luck with that. Have fun. Not happening. I'm not going anywhere to that place. You can take Zach's. You guys have fun.
I think Dax sees up for it. I'm sure he'd like that.
See, I agree, Daniel. He says you need a top haunted hotel video with a personal werewolf encounter, and we should do it on Wednesday while talking about Lake Wobegon. Absolutely, Daniel.
I've got a werewolf plushie over there, if that counts.
No, I'm not judging your sex life. I think that's fascinating, though. I'm just going to say that. A werewolf plushie. Yeah, we all know what that means, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that channel, yes, next time you're in Colorado, hit me up. The Stanley Hotel is awesome. I will do.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Fantastic. And there you go, look, Salty. They've got an awesome bourbon room there.
Okay, I'm sold. Unless we're talking about the Clown Motel, in which case I got plenty of bourbon right over there. So,
No, he's talking about the Overlook. Hotel.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we're good. Just no clowns.
Sold.
Simple. It's very simple. Werewolves,
fine. Clowns, Yeah. And exactly, Psychodorf. No kink shaming. Thank you very much.
It wasn't kink shaming. I'm just asking legitimate questions. Sorry if some people were upset by the nature of my inquiry into the werewolf plushie. I'm just gonna say that.
One thing that I
Oh,
did
Lord.
forget to mention when we were talking to the gentleman downstairs, he was actually kind enough to give us a little
Oh,
booklet,
yeah.
which
Oh, yeah.
gives a little bit of history about the hotel, and
Yeah.
like I said, they do
The
a
portraits.
tour talking about the more weird things that go on, but
Yeah.
we didn't get to go on that, unfortunately. Maybe next time.
Yeah. It was yeah. I liked what we did. I definitely would like to go on a hotel tour. I'm not much of a guy like where you have to stand in line with a bunch of other people and have somebody talk to you and then be led around. I'd rather wander off and go places I'm not supposed to go. But I guess that works too.
And a big thank you to D-Bud Martin. Sorry, sweetheart, I started it, but I didn't pull it up, so you're absolutely right. Thank you to Psychodwarf. He sends us another super chat. Thank you so much, love. He said the club ghost opened a locked pantry when I was running late for First Sergeant's event.
The problem with ghosts, and I find this too, is they drink all your liquor. And no one believes you. Like, nobody believes you. Like, just that things just disappear. They just are gone.
Just
And
gone.
especially the really good bourbon, they seem to drink that first, and they always say, I'm like, it's going to last me a week. And
are you saying that ghosts have really good taste? That's yeah. It was the ghost. Yeah.
I'm not saying the ghosts need an intervention. I'm just saying I wish the bourbon didn't evaporate as quickly, the good bourbon, as it did. Anyone in chat have that problem? It's just me.
Raise your hand in chat if you do, guys.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things we wanted to share with you today, and I'm really glad that you guys liked it. We're going to try and do more of that. So thank you, guys. Yeah. What have you got for us, Salty? What have we got?
I have a couple articles. I'm going to flip from the paranormal and the spectral to the woo-woo in outer space. So this blew my mind. Apparently, we haven't monkeyed with things enough. We have to go screw around on other planets. And so what I found out is that there is an ongoing experiment on Mars where they have put a device on the planet which has no legitimate atmosphere. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm sure the Thad that shouldn't be is going to tell me. It does not have a breathable atmosphere for a variety of reasons. How and why that happened, I think we don't know, but the gravitational pull, as I understand it, on Mars is not strong enough to keep an Earth-like atmosphere on the planet itself. So they're performing an experiment called the MOXIE experiment that sent a lunchbox-sized device up that is producing oxygen at the same rate that a tree is. Interesting, because if we only planted more effing trees, maybe we could get more effing oxygen and not worry about the effing CO2, which they say is a problem, and they're just efforts for saying that, but I digress. So they put this thing on Mars.
I think they might be fibbing, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is set up for pioneering astronauts. So they sent this little lunchbox thing out there, oxygen, and it's generating as much oxygen as a tree. Again, the problem is that it's going to float off into space. I mean, that is barring the fact that the circumference and the surface of Mars is rather extensive. So I don't know, maybe I would have sent 1 million lunchboxes up, and maybe in 1,000 years we'll see what happens.
There might be a breathable atmosphere. Yeah,
I thought that was really, really wild that they're screwing around with stuff like this. Yeah,
and we talked about this last week as well, didn't we? We were talking about that Mars is probably going to be the next place that if we ever get back into space and space travel becomes a thing like it was in the past, that's where they're going to head.
Yeah.
Do you like the idea of terraforming Mars? Because essentially that's what this would be doing.
You know what? Let's solve some other problems, and by solving other problems, let's get the organizations and institutions out of the way that take away a lot of things from us and call it taxes, and then do things with it that has nothing to do with what it's supposed to do. Let's do that, and let's let private equity firms that actually are responsible for producing results for shareholders develop space programs that have to be successful or they'll go bankrupt, as opposed to, let's say, government institutions, which are not accountable to anyone. And the answer to everything is just more money, you know? So
just throwing money at things, because that's never been a bad.
yeah, that's the only way we're going to stop the weather from changing is if we give them billions of dollars. But this Moxie thing landed on Mars in February of 2021, and it has been powered up 7 different times under different seasonal and weather conditions to create oxygen using the compounds that are found in the Martian planet itself. So what happens is oxygen ions are isolated and recombined to create breathable and combustible oxygen by breaking apart rocks. And in the dust, they heat the rocks to 800 degrees Celsius, and that breaks down the structure of these things to produce oxygen ions. Kind of crazy. I have a question. If we can do that, if we can send a lunchbox up to Mars to do that, and if people have a problem with CO2, why don't we just all carry a lunchbox around that breaks down the CO2?
Yeah, you just kind of plant them around, or as you say, just plant more trees.
Yeah.
Funnily, if you don't have to power trees, they just kind of do it themselves.
I know, right? Or we could just plant effing trees, right? Trees. We don't need to carry a lunchbox around that breaks down things and creates it.
Are you implying that humans make things more complicated than we need to for ourselves?
I think there's people who don't. How do I say this? I think there are people who have way too much money and are malignant narcissists that seem self-appointed to say there's too many people on the planet, and that they want to steal all of our money before they delete us all. That's what I think, though, and I don't know how we went from Mars to that, but that's what I think, Purple Valkyrie. Yeah,
it's all connected in a roundabout way.
Yeah, it's.
But I like the idea of it, and as you say, if it's that simple, but I don't know. It seems like it's just one of these other wacky experiments that they like to do on Mars. Whether or not we would ever be able to live on Mars, I don't know, but I think we should take care of our own planet before we try and go to another.
Yeah, I think we should get rid of all the James Bond villains that are causing our electric bills to increase by 10,000%.
I thought you were going to say that keep making crappy shows on Amazon.
Oh, yeah, that's a special kind of torture. It really is.
Let me say hey to Southern Viking. Good to see you. Says I'm late, but I made it. Funny thing is, my definition of woo-woo is completely different than what I thought this stream was going to be about. Wow, you missed the haunted hotel half of this stream. I have to go back to the beginning and check it out. But it's great to see you. Let's see who else we've got. We've got Lord Thoth. Great to see you. Hello. We've got lovely Sarah Gary and hey, sweetheart. She says, hey, you two crazy kids. Just a drive-by comment from the job site. Looking forward to woo-woo. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We have got the man himself, Zax. Great to see you.
Dude.
Hello.
Oh, Canada.
Great
hey,
to
Zax,
see
what's
you.
up, dude?
Oh, Zax, we miss you. We had such a good show last night, didn't we?
I know. I want to do woo-woo with you. We did have a great show last night. We really did.
And speaking of great shows, there's Snowdub. Hey, Snowdub, good to see you.
What's up? What's up, Snowdub? We had a wild Saturday. Saturday.
Really? And you're kink shaming me about a werewolf plushie? Do tell.
I wasn't shaming. I was merely judging. There's a difference. I can judge. I can silently see. This is silently judging.
That's silently judging. Oh, okay.
And then shaming is shame. Big difference. Big difference.
TZ Burton says heretics, all of you.
I know, right? I'm a deplorable, and I'm semi-fascist. Apparently, God. They keep coming up with all these names for people that don't like to eat bugs and live in a third world country. I don't understand. I don't know. Call me crazy, right? I don't know. It's all crazy.
And let me say hey to Mark the Infinitely Tired. Good to see you. Says Mars cannot sustain a true atmosphere because its core doesn't generate a magnetic field to push away solar winds and radiation. Not to mention the regolith on Mars is toxic. Yes, it's essentially it's a dead planet, isn't it? Mars, from what we know, it was like Earth.
Yeah,
back way back.
Yeah, I would really like to know why there's a big gash across the axis of one side of the planet. I understand how it's possible. I do. I just want to understand what happened there. The interesting thing about that magnetic core is, did it ever have a functioning magnetic core? Now, without an atmosphere, you would literally be cooked with the radiation coming off the sun, and also the radiation constantly coming from space, because that's one of the things that Earth and our atmosphere does. The ionosphere, I believe, is filter out all of these cosmic rays which continually bombard us. And one of the world-ending scenarios that could occur is that maybe we get hit with some dark energy that comes flying out of the cosmos, because it's just hurling around out there and slams into Earth, and some of it gets through the ionosphere, and it's literally like would scour all life off of wherever that hit. And that is exactly right. That's why Mars is dangerous. Now, we can screw around,
Yes.
but essentially you're just going to be living in a spaceship on another planet. It's never going to be some green paradise. Yeah, I'm not into it. I'm not into it at all. You know, clean up Fukushima. Why don't we clean up Fukushima? Why don't we use all the natural gas we have? I've said this before, in North America, Europe. We have enough.
It's got to stay in the ground.
We have enough clean burning, non-polluting natural gas in North America. So if our population increased by 10%, which it's not, the populations of all the Western world are steadily declining. By the time we get to 2030, the population will have significantly fallen. That's because of the one-child policy in China. It's also because of Western civilization. But if you want to know why maybe you guys are getting all of those people who just come on boats and walk across your borders, it's because maybe they want to have markets to sell all of the shit that we that are an aging population are no longer buying. I have to stop talking. I'm sorry. We were talking about Mars and aliens.
There goes Salty with his conspiracy theories again. And since Gumbunny asks, she says, Rise and Shine, where can I get a werewolf plushie? Well, this is the one that sits on the sofa. That's him.
Oh my God, is that kinky?
And he's
what are you showing me his junk for? Did you see that? The first thing she did, she showed me the werewolf junk. Like, look, it's not kink. It's actually adorable, Purple Valkyrie. I want a werewolf. I want a plushie.
So yeah, it's a Build-A-Bear.
Can I see him again? I want to see him.
Oh, he's on the floor. There we go.
I'm sorry.
Here he is.
Okay, he's adorable. He's got little claws. It says Happy Halloween. Okay, that's adorable.
Yep. He just hangs out on the sofa. That's all.
Purple, you heard it here first. Purple Valkyrie keeps a werewolf in her living room. You've heard it here first. Yeah.
Small while for me. Hey, sweetheart.
Hey.
She says, just stopping by to say hello. On vacation this week. Actually, just dropped off Mando from hanging out. Nice.
Cool. Very cool.
I've been missing the streams. Generally hanging out in the end and wanted to say, hey, well, hello, honey. Great to see you.
It's great.
Hope you're having a great week off. Daniel's talking about giant space chickens for. Okay.
Space chicken.
Space chicken.
Okay. Regular, Daniel, this is to you. Regular or extra crispy space chicken? That's what I'm wondering, you know?
And we've got from Snowdub, thank you, sweetheart. He says, I always miss Purple's live shows, so here's some cash to make up for it. Thank you, sweetheart. And you had a fantastic show on Saturday. That was first to say it went off the rails, I think.
Yeah, I had my head wrapped in toilet paper because I was pretending that I got in a car accident and forgot and had amnesia, so that I didn't know that Amazon had made The Lord of the Rings, and I was excited about it. Actually, correct that, had made The Rings of Power and was excited about it. So, and there were puppets using foul language. It was awesome. I love that show.
It kind of sounds like you're making it up if it didn't actually happen, but yes.
I know when you say it out loud, it sounds even weirder than it was.
Sounds even weirder than it actually is.
It actually makes a lot of sense. And Snowdub, I know we're having a good show. I know we have a good show with Snowdub. I could hear him laughing, and he has to mute himself because it's so off the rails. So, dude,
Zach says werewolves got nods. Absolutely.
That's where you saw where she went, Zach, dude. I mean, she's like, look, there's my wolf. And it's like, showed me the werewolf junk. I'm like, what? How werewolves London. How You know what? It's Werewolf Wednesday Woo Woo at Lake Wobegon. I had to do it again. It's all leakies.
That's a lot of W's. That's a lot of
Yeah,
W's.
ladies.
And hey, we've got Monkey Jeebus. Great to see you. Hope you are doing well. Hey guys, just catching up because messing around with a stuffed toy, I missed some of them. But great to see you. What else have we got here? Let me pull this up. What do you got for me?
Oh God, I have to do this. Okay, yeah. So
Yes!
I found this is cool. Now, so when I was a kid, they were still looking for the Titanic, and yeah, let the age jokes. Just whatever. So, but they found it. Obviously, Bob Ballard found it, but somebody went back and they actually sent down a super high resolution camera because at the time, given the depth and where this is in the North Atlantic and how stormy the North Atlantic is, where this magnificent ship went down, the cameras that they sent back in the 80s only got 80s grainy looking footage. They're now sending down
I saw that film. James Cameron went down.
Yeah. And then Leonardo DiCaprio froze to death at the end. But
yeah, he did.
They're sending down robot submersibles that have 8K quality cameras.
Okay.
Because the ship is starting to finally, after over 110 years after it sank, it is starting to essentially start to decompose. When you're dealing with cold water and cold salt water, you can see the reactions. Here's an instance of it right there. Obviously, the Titanic was not just a James Cameron movie. It was a very important ship, and at its time, the largest, and they called it an unsinkable vessel. What happened on its maiden voyage? It hit an iceberg. Now, some people say that given all of the very wealthy, and we're talking wealthy on a global scale, the number of passengers on that boat, and considering that this was a mere 2 years before World War I started. Now, that was when the Hot War started. There was Cold War stuff going on before World War I. Given that a lot of these financiers, very powerful people from around the globe were on this boat, that perhaps it was sunk intentionally.
Yes. People say that it was actually American financier J.P. Morgan who was behind it. There is also a theory that it was actually an insurance scam, that the Titanic was actually swapped with its sister ship, the Olympic, and that's the one that got sank. So there's a lot of stories behind this.
And living in 2022, we start to look at those stories a little bit differently because I don't have any conspiracy theories anymore. I just have facts that turned out to be conspiracy. But let's go ahead and watch some of this footage. So the Titanic, or at least what is called the Titanic, is sitting at 12,000 feet of water in the North Atlantic. And they're saying that everything is by 2030. Kiss my ass with that. But probably within the next couple of decades, I'd say probably another 100 years, bacteria in the ocean are starting to attack the iron of this ship. So let's take a look at this. And I'm not going to show all of it. I'm going to show you some of it. So this was from 2022.
Okay.
And you can see.
Oh, look at that.
God, kiss my ass, YouTube. There we go. Yeah. It's incredible.
It's haunting to watch and to see what it looks like, and to think that this ship, it was called the Ship of Dreams, wasn't it, as well? It was one of what the press called it. Yeah.
The opulence on this boat and the cost of being on this boat and the VIPs being on this boat, this was a mode of transportation that we can only imagine how opulent and grand it was. We've all seen ads from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and even the 60s of what it was like to fly. And, it's not like now where you're crammed in there and you're watching people beat the hell out of each other before the gate. People got dressed up. They served you martinis. They served you great food. It was an experience. And
you talked about some of the incredibly rich people who are on board. And we had John Jacob Astor, Benjamin Guggenheim, Isidor Straus, three very, very powerful men who coincidentally were in opposition of the creation of the US Central Bank, who happened to all go down with the ship as well.
Federal Reserve.
Yep.
Which is not a federal institution. I'm going to say that again. The Federal Reserve, look at your dollars. It's not a federal government agency. It is a private conglomerate of European banks.
Mm-hmm.
And your income tax was passed as an emergency measure on Christmas Eve of 1913 or 1914 when there was no one in the Senate. As an emergency measure, income tax, only the top 3% earners of the United States, and it was going to end when World War I ended. It's a true story. It's a true story.
That shouldn't be. So you can make the argument that tensions erupted into World War I, were there for decades with border wars in the Balkans and the Middle East. Yep. Yeah, always were, pretty much always will be in that region. That's how it is. But what do you think, Salty? Do you think that the Titanic should be left alone? Because technically it is a graveyard because so many people were trapped on the ship and went down with it. There was talk probably a couple of decades ago where they actually wanted to try and raise the Titanic at one point.
Yeah, Clive Cussler wrote a book about that back in the 80s, a fictionalized account of that. But people wanted to bring up the Titanic and turn it into an amusement park.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things about very, very cold water, and it's very cold in the North Atlantic at 12,000 feet below the surface, and also given the pressure, was that at the time when they were, I think it was the early 80s or the late 70s when Bob Ballard did find the Titanic, that they were finding human remains throughout the ship, and they had video of it, people in certain staterooms. Now, remember, this is a submersible that is on a line which provides power and video, and this line is, you know, at least 12,000 feet from the surface or wherever it is to go down. So you can't be screwing around with this thing like with your long dangly line going down all these hallways, because if you snap that line, you've lost, I don't know how much, $1 million worth of robot. You know what I mean? And
you're not getting back out.
You're not getting that robot back. So, you know, they only went into the easy, low risk, high reward places to go, which meant easy access, which means that God knows, especially in steerage, at the poor people.
Yep.
Engineering. Engineering. You know, the poor people. And when I say that, that's how my family came over. You know, around 1900 was in steerage like that. You know, because we were serfs. You know, we were slaves too. Yeah, we don't get reparations though. But anyway, we can't talk about that. But to answer your question, I think we should leave this damn thing alone. I think there's a lot of damn things we should leave alone. I think we should worry about raising our kids right. I think we should worry about being agriculturally independent. I think that food security is national security. I think a lot of things, you know, mostly I think I can't say what I want to say. But,
damn it, YouTube. But company, and it seems like the chat agrees. They say, she says they should allow the ship and its inhabitants to stay where it is. Yeah, absolutely.
You want to find something? So find Gilsane's client list. You want to dig something up?
Yeah. Haven't heard much about that recently, have we? Funny that.
Nope. Anyway.
And Sagadrov say they keep finding shoes. I've heard that, yeah. And Bat Channel says #facts, Salty. Yes, indeed.
Well,
great to see you.
Hate facts. If you're listening to CNN, they're hate facts. But, yeah.
And I think Dave Bob sums it up pretty well. He says, hell in a handbasket comes to mind. Indeed.
Yeah, the Bill Gates Express. That's exactly what it is. I'm salty. Hello, I'm salty.
Clues in the name. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that though. That was fantastic, and it is great to see this footage. And I think they've done, as you say, documentaries about it. But because of where the ship landed, and it it broke apart, and it landed on when it actually finally hit the seabed and drifted, it is incredibly hard to get to. It pretty much sank in one of the hardest places in the Atlantic to actually get down to. As you say, it's at 12,000 feet.
Yeah.
But I hope they leave it. They don't disturb it. And even if they did, if they try to bring any of this up now, it would just crumble apart. So
that's the iron, the changing of pressure, Iron is not the most stable in environmental conditions thing that is out there. There are iron bridges that are still out there. I know down south, at least I remember them from North Carolina, that were built during the Reconstruction that you can go see, and you can see some of these cars too. Some of the other things, old railroad things, where you can see the iron is just rotted away. Would find things on. I used to come across things on the Appalachian Trail when I used to hike that thing, and you'd see these relics and you'd see old locomotives and things. And iron does not stick around. It starts oxidizing, it starts rusting immediately. I know how to say that word.
Yes.
I just don't want to.
If anyone's been up close to the Eiffel Tower, you'll know it looks great from a distance, but you get too close to it and it looks kind of shabby because of how long it's been there.
Yeah, and salt water is unforgiving. Look at the Golden Gate Bridge. That bridge never stops being painted, repainted, and worked on because of the salt air and the corrosion that occurs.
Yes. I don't think I've ever. Well, I have, but I've never been across that bridge. But it is fascinating to see. It's an incredible work of engineering.
I left my heart in San Francisco.
I wouldn't recommend going back to get it.
No, I wasn't talking about having my organs illegally harvested by the same people who loot Walgreens, but that was actually Tony Bennett's song. Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful rendition. Well done, Salty. And hey to Mr. Buttcrack Media. Good to see you. As always, he says hail to the lovely Purple Valkyrie. Well, hello, honey. Hello there. Great to see you. Matt Jones, hello, love. Good to see you. He says the Mary Rose was excavated, and that's a pretty interesting exhibit. It is. I think you guys were talking about it in the chat. It's much easier to bring up wooden ships because we've had Viking ships that have been brought out of mud and that have been found, and they've held together much, much better.
There's, I know there was a Confederate fleet that they just found off the coast. I think it was North Carolina or South Carolina, and I do know the difference, having lived in North Carolina. But they were wooden ships, and that these things were relatively intact off the coast, of the Atlantic in shallow water. God knows what's out there. There's so many wrecks. There's so many, like the Spanish galleon. I mean, look at the invasion fleet that Spain sent to England that got wiped out by that hurricane. There's so many things where if weather events would have been different, if that hurricane would have been 1 week later, like the geopolitical makeup of Europe would be fundamentally changed, and world history would be very different. I have a lot of respect for the planet, for the earth, for the weather, for the forces in nature. I think we have a lot of parasites right now that like to think that they're geniuses because they managed to work a system, and now they're gonna rewrite the things that are important, which is human nature and nature itself. But I need to stop talking. I'm sorry.
I love it when you go off on tangents. But that was fascinating.
Did I mention purple? Did I mention that it is woo-woo?
It is
Werewolf Wednesday. It's Werewolf Wednesday.
What about the rest? You missed half of it.
It is Werewolf Woo-Woo Wednesday at Lake Wobegon.
There we go. There we go.
We just do this all day.
Yeah, if we can just keep doing
this all day.
We just keep adding W words to it and make it even longer.
Is Salty Texas Sea autistic? Probably. Maybe.
But that was fascinating, and I like I said, I love seeing it, and thank you for bringing that up. Is there anything else you'd like to talk woo about, or shall we start to wrap up and let people get on with their Wednesday?
Yeah, and I gotta go back to work too.
There's that other W word, yes.
Calls. Yeah, you know what? I like the other W words a lot better. So, work.
Me too. Guys, if you don't mind, I'm going to show that short video once more because I can, and because Salty was making fun of the music. So be right back.
All right, here we go. Powder milk biscuits, rhubarb bebop or rhubarb pie. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Garrison Keillor and Lake Wobegon. We'll be back next week.
I'm gonna use that music for everything.
I think
now.
you should.
It just
I
makes
will
me
come up.
happy.
I will come up with random like Wobegon stuff while you do that. I absolutely will. It's been a quiet week on. It's been a quiet Wednesday on Woo Woo Werewolf Wednesday at like Wobegon.
Nosferatu says I'm tap dancing. Thank you.
I know.
Thank
I
you,
miss,
Nos-
I miss Garrison Keeler. They made like Wobegon woke, and you know what happened? It destroyed it. Shock.
Jacob Ironside, Werewolf Wednesday really wobs me the wrong way. You guys are nuts.
I feel you, Jacob. I do.
Not judging. Don't judge here. It's not something that
We
do.
will apparently kink shame with the furry
Apparently so,
werewolf,
yeah.
but
Don't
you.
hate my werewolf.
Yeah. I said the Q word.
Oh my god. You guys are crazy. And Vic Railhead, it's great to see you. Have a great day, guys. Finally caught a woo-woo stream. Thank you, honey. Oh, yeah. Very weird woo-woo stream, but a very fun one.
No, Purple, you know what it is? It's a wonderful werewolf woo-woo Wednesday at Lake Wobegon. You're welcome.
Bravo. Well done.
Wild.
Before we wrap up and let everybody go, what have you got coming up? Because I know we had a fantastic show last night.
You think I know how to do this? Actually, tonight I think I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons with Squeaka Mouse, Banamanethra Nathan, Jed, the Hollywood scholar who hopped on our show last night. Hail to you, Jed. And I might be missing other people because I have stream brain, but we're going to be doing that tonight at 6 o'clock Central for a couple of hours, and it's we're completing the second half of the Borderlands Dungeons and Dragons. Second edition rules because I don't need woke in my Dungeons and Dragons. And then I believe tomorrow Zach 7 is going to be doing his What's Good on show on Thursday, and I run the back end and pop out the chat and keep mixing the drinks. And then I think we're going to be doing a special stream on your channel that is not going to be talking about pop culture. We're just going to have fun and get weird. I mean, not like weird werewolf no, Wednesday, unlike Wobegon, but just playing, Garctic. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And we have got big thank you to D-Bud, because I hate that these messages don't pop up properly, from Zax, who has been with us for 11 months. Thank you so much, Zax. It says, when Purple Valkyrie is on and on camera, I drop everything.
Including his trousers. Whoa. Oops. No, I shouldn't have said that. But
thank you. So good to see you, Zax, and can't wait for your show tomorrow night.
Yeah.
We have got from Unbearable73, great to see you. He's been with us for 5 months. It says, you two should put Woo Woo Wednesday on merch. It's very catchy. I might do that. That's a great idea. And let me see, make sure I'm not missed anybody. Big thank you, D-Bird. I did, from Leaky, who has been with us for 3 months as well. Great to see you, honey. It says, thanks for making my Wednesday better. Well, thank you for being here. You guys are amazing, as always. And big thank you to everybody who voted in the poll. So I said, would you stay in a haunted hotel? And coming in at a whopping 59%, you guys said yes. 18% of you said heck no. 15% only if you paid me, and then 6% maybe on a dare. So thank you guys. You guys are the best.
Sorry, I'm trying to type up a tongue twister. You want to vamp for me while I don't actually do my guest duties because I'm trying to be clever? Yeah, that's a real thing. I'm a pain
you
in the
guys
ass.
are awesome. Nosferatu is laughing at Salty. He really, really likes the tongue twisters. Jacob Ironside says, I'd really like to see another build stream. Those are fun. Well, we can do that. Absolutely.
I got a ship to finish.
Get those.
Yeah, I got a ship.
Yeah, I've got a dinosaur that needs to be finished building and guys to paint, so I can definitely do that. And I think we're also going to be covering the 3rd episode of The Rings of Failure on Friday.
That's a TBD. Because
that's a maybe.
I don't want to turn this into a Rings of Power show. I think we have reached the opposite of hate. I have never seen this. I have never seen the level of ambivalence that we're seeing. People don't care.
We've slid straight through into apathy.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No, this show managed to do even the hate and name calling. It isn't even working because no one really nobody cares because it's so not Tolkien. It's so not Middle Earth. It's just like, yeah. So we'll watch this. We'll probably do a day stream or maybe a post FNT show on Friday and talk about it. But I'm not staying up. I'm like, you release a show like this at midnight. Why wouldn't you release this on primetime if it's such a success? I don't understand this. Guys.
Would make sense, absolutely. And that channel says haven't watched it yet. Is it that bad? Yeah,
it's not Tolkien. It's not
Tolkien.
It's okay. So remove that as a generic fantasy show. It's boring, too much CG. Gladriel is unlikable. It's. I'd rather mow my lawn than. I'd rather wash dishes than watch the show, really.
And we've got one more question from Lothrop. He says, Salty, what class are you playing tonight for D&D?
I'm just your basic bitch. I wanted to be a ranger, but the dice didn't let it play out, so I'm a fighter thief. And as it turns out, having another thief was a good idea. But,
it definitely helps, yeah.
Half elf, fighter thief. I'm chaotic good.
A lot of stuff to steal.
Yep. I'm chaotic good. Which is it's a real stretch for me. Chaos. Hard to play.
Oh my gosh, guys! Thank you so much for joining us on another Woo Woo Wednesday. Love getting to do these, but let me say a massive thank you to Salty as always for being a fantastic co-host.
You're welcome, and you're totally ignoring my member chat that I put in there. You deliberately.
Chat.
Do you want me to tell you what it said? I can tell you what it said.
I got it.
Right.
Thank you. So we have got from Salty Texas C, who's been with us for 7 months. He says, Werewolf Woo Woo Wednesday was wild. Thank you.
Boom. You and I started working together 8 months ago.
Yes, we did.
I mean, I'm very lucky. Very lucky that I have you guys in chat to call you friends, that I get to work with people like Purple Valkyrie, Zax, Nathan, Amanda Manethrin, Prophet of the Dragon, Max Philvan Priestley. It's just I'm very lucky. So thank you guys for being here today. Thank you for appreciating my weird humor, and thanks for egging me on, and thanks for your own weirdness. Thank you for your weirdness on this wild werewolf Woo Woo Wednesday on Lake Wobegon.
Well done. Bravo.
Yeah. Bringing the pain.
Guys, thank you for joining us. This was a lot of fun. Love getting to talk about the Haunted Hotel. I'm sure we will be doing more of them in the future, and definitely we'll be doing more woo-woo, because I think this is a really good kind of midweek break from all the craziness that we usually talk about. But Salty will be back very soon. Zax is on tomorrow night. We've got the D&D stream, as he says, this evening. We'll be back probably on Friday doing something, and we will be back on Saturday playing at Gartic Phone, which should be interesting. Because apparently that's kind of crazy. So I know
she still hasn't played it yet, so we're gonna walk her through before the show, and we'll see. I hope she doesn't fall on the floor laughing, because I've played this with Nathan, Amanda Manethrin, and then Steve, Prophet of the Dragon, as well as all of Steve's kids. Boy, play this with 12-year-olds.
Just asking for trouble.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on today. This is a lot of fun, Purple.
You're welcome. Thank you, as always. And guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the amazing comments. Thank you for your super chats, and thank you for your member chats. You guys are amazing. I will leave you guys with the member outro. Huge thank you to everybody who was a part of this. We couldn't do it without you. So have a great rest of your day. Look after yourselves and each other, and we will be back very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Stay spooky.
Ooh.